and welcome to a Q&A for Colorado Dragon Boat Film Festival. My name is Sara Moore, and I am the Executive Director for the nonprofit Colorado Dragon Boat. And today we are honored to have the filmmakers of Duo Pandemic with us here today. So I just want to go ahead and start us off real quick by maybe having everybody go ahead and introduce themselves. Carlton, can we start with you?
Yeah, I'm Carlton Hester. I'm a composer and interdisciplinary artist.
Great. Rebecca?
Hi, my name is Rebecca, and I am an artist and visual artist and also multimedia artist.
Wonderful. Cecilia?
Hello, everyone. I'm Cecilia Wu. I'm the co-composer with Carlton. So nice to see you.
Wonderful. And Patricia?
Hi, I'm Patricia Saucedo. I'm artist, visual artist, and music autodidacta.
Perfect. Thank you. Now I'd love to kind of just jump in and see if Carlton, if you wouldn't mind just kind of explaining the inspiration for creating this series, and specifically the conclusion, episode 14. But this is an absolutely amazing series that we're looking forward to the release in April. But if you wouldn't mind telling us behind the scenes what started it off for you.
Well, what started it off is a lifelong exploration of Egyptian mysteries and looking at transition into the netherworld that starts with the weighing of hearts, if you know the image of the weighing of hearts and that kind of thing. And so the quantum elders come from that region, from that nano region that's purely consciousness. And so this series began, it actually began about 10 years ago as something I called divine particles vision, where we're talking about each particle, everything's a particle, whether it's a sun, a galaxy, a universe, whatever's a particle, and has subparticles. So like the old term, as above, so below, there's all these layers that go omnidirectionally and in and out and all this kind of stuff. So all of that is a part of the process that we're going through to create. The umbrella title is Quantum Elders Consciousness Vaccine. And that starts with an introduction that kind of transports us into the quantum world. And Rebecca does a guided meditation that takes us from the terrestrial world into the world of the quantum elders. And so we spend 14 episodes there. Some of them are long. Rebecca just finished one that's 13 minutes and plus long, but there are 13 of them altogether. Well, 14 counting the guided meditation. And then we come back to Earth. And coming back to Earth is where we're focused right now, is on the Duo Pandemic. When we come back, we went to get the consciousness vaccine for that into the quantum world. And so the episode that we end on is the Duo Pandemic, that's talking about the dual part of that pandemic is the COVID-19 and racism. So we focus in on those two things. And so if we use that as, if I go back to the end and talk about that, it started with Cecilia. Cecilia Cecilia introduced me to Rebecca, and Rebecca kind of worked with on the video and audio almost every day for the last year because there's that much depth that has gone into each little increment. I began with the composition one for each of these episodes. That was just done. I just did it mainly on synthesizer, just played it in all the parts and got sounds and this kind of thing, and laid out the framework, and then took it to Rebecca, and I didn't expect her to understand as much as she understood. And with that level of understanding, it just went on and on and on. And then with Cecilia, we had worked on some earlier parts together and some grants and stuff, and one of them didn't work out. And then so later on, she just says, hey, why don't we just do something and to to take, you know, to address this issue of racism and stuff like that. And so we did that. I said, well, I don't have much time as usual, but I'll do something quick, which I always do. I do everything quick. And so she said, okay, well, let's do a composition. I said, I've never done that, ever. I said, so that's why I'll do it. I've never done it. And because you asked so nicely. And so we did that. And so it's funny because it ended for me in the summer, right as the wildfires were happening. And so the very ending of this piece came at a time when I had like 5 minutes to leave the house. And I said, I better get this done, because they said, oh, we don't know when you're going to be back, if it's going to be months or whatever, and the house might not be there. So it ended with, I played a quick saxophone ending to it within 5 minutes, setting everything up and everything. And so I can hear that sense of urgency, which is nice, coming back to earth for that last movement. And so that's kind of a short version of a very long process.
Wow, that is amazing. And I hope that your house was okay from the wildfires.
We came back and it was okay. We have to do some painting and you know, spraying, you know, high intensity spraying. But yeah, it was standing, everything's here.
Good. Yeah. And I think 2020 was just, so much was happening. And this last episode just really is so emotional for me watching it, and just really realizing how much has happened just within that last year, and has just been going on for forever. And I really appreciate your series addressing this, coming back to earth. I like that analogy there. And I would love to hear more about just the production in general of these films.
Well, since Patricia wants to, I haven't read her comment, but I want to say a little bit about the interaction with Patricia. We go back like maybe 4 or 5 years, when I was in Peru, in Lima, Peru, and we did something at the Huacas there, the pyramids there. We projected onto the pyramids, some video, and I did some electric acoustic kind of thing. And so that's where we got acquainted. And then afterwards, she's worked on like 3 or 4 videos for concerts that we've done for April in Santa Cruz ever since. So we've become, all of us have become gradually, finally in tune with each other. And so Patricia was able to just go in and really sense what was going on. Just as Rebecca has with having to do the same kind of thing over the period of an hour and 40 minutes, you know. But Patricia went in and understood what we were trying to do in terms of all the levels, in terms of the approaches to finding a consciousness vaccine for both racism and COVID-19. So she just keyed in on that. So all of the things that you see are just completely from her interpretation of what we were thinking about.
Wow. That is absolutely amazing. I would love to go to Cecilia. Would you mind telling us a little bit about your part in the production and how you felt during the creation?
Yeah, basically, I think it is an honor that I can work with my very, very good friend and my Buddhist master, I would say, Rebecca. So we have been, knowing each other for a long time. So this is actually our first collaboration too, right? So we've been talking about collaboration like a lifelong, but this is the first piece that we ever actually do something together. So basically my role in this whole series is just a co-composer and audio engineer for the conclusion piece. And I really am grateful that Dr. Hester is having me in this wonderful, important, series of his composition. So, but I really wanted to give that to Rebecca and Carlton, and to continue that, because they are actually, the heart, the core of this series. So.
Thank you. Yeah, Rebecca, would you mind going into a little bit of detail?
Certainly. Thank you, Cecilia. And it's really an honor to work with everyone. In this process, we really went through a lot in 2020. And I'm really very grateful to be working on this project concurrent with all the events happening. In a way, it gives me a backbone to face and process the events as they go on, and then also channel all of it into the visual layers of the project. So I will be mostly talking about the conscious vaccine part of the project, because that's my part of the contribution. I'm the videographer of the project, and I put everything in, and also wrote algorithms. They're parts of the video that are algorithm driven. That the algorithm is the music driven. The algorithm takes Professor Hester's music and combine it with the visual layers, that some of my contribution, some of other artists' contribution, and to put it all together into this final film. So I'm really grateful to be working on it, and then pulling various pieces, and it's almost like an art activism thing that really helps me to anchor my experience and express. And I'm also a chaplain at Stanford, Buddhist chaplain at Stanford, and inspired by the process of creating art and using art as a healing, processing, and transcending agent of a lot of the of a lot of our experiences. I'm also working on proposing a campus-wide ritual at Stanford. So it's a lot of the inspirations going on, and a lot of things hope to share with the world through the project.
Yes, thank you. And yes, watching this episode, and I'm excited to watch all the others, but it's just it's so emotional for me. And what I got out of this episode was just a need for action. And I was just wondering, maybe Carlton, if you wouldn't mind discussing what you hope to be the result of the whole series, and specifically the last episode as well.
It's all evolutionary. It's like in this round, I just was lucky enough to run into kindred spirits who were on the same frequency. The whole thing is about vibration. And the structure of the piece is based on vibration, on the overtone series and this kind of thing, because a lot of the Egyptian stuff is base 12. And so everything is kind of laid out in that base 12 kind of fashion. That's why there are 14 episodes. It's the overtone series, 12 of the overtone series, plus an intro and a coda, but it's essentially base 12. And within and without, everything's kind of based on that kind of construction. So what I hope to achieve is to continuity of the process, because everything's about process and sustainability. And the way that we're going to try to sustain this process is to have an Afrofuturism year-long festival next year, where this will just be one of the pieces, and there'll be pieces from all over the world of different types, you know, music, dance, martial arts, you know, a lot of seminars and a lot of other aspects that sustain these same concepts. And Afrofuturism is defined in a way that's that includes everybody on the planet. It's not exclusionary, it's inclusionary. And that's what has been really great about our team. We have people from Latin America, from Asia, from Africa, from all over on the team. So we get the essence of that, not by just talking about it, but by actually by not talking about it. We just kind of jump into it, you know, because that's the reality of the situation. And we just happen to be of similar frequency, you know, because of the things that we've gone through. And then later, you know, like when we have to give a talk, Rebecca's going to be doing a talk for my class on, Cecilia's done a talk at UCSC. He's going to be doing another one in April. It's only then that I discovered, oh yeah, you know, we're also talking about African and Asian things and Latin American things, yeah, but actually we're talking about universal concepts, you know, things that bind the universe together. And like with the quantum elders, it's a matter of getting into the non-molecular universe. We're so fixed on the unconsciousness that drives society, and that's fixed on the molecular universe, and mainly, you know, even narrowed down more than that, money, you know, capitalism and colonialism and all that kind of stuff. So it's good as Rebecca mentioned, to go to the spiritual world, because the spiritual world is one of the expressions of the non-molecular universe. And so it's just good to have like minds that can travel on this route with this film, but also will travel in the next iteration, you know, like with the Afrofuturism year-long thing, and then hopefully just on and on and on, you know, in ways that bring a real consciousness vaccine. It's not an abstract concept. We're talking realism. We know that it heals. We know that it brings results. And so, yeah, we'll continue it. How, I don't know, because we're all improvisers. So we can't really say how it will continue, but it will continue. You'll have structure, and it'll have, you know, a lot of unity and interconnectedness and all of those things.
Mm-hmm. That is wonderful. Thank you so much, because I think that is very, very needed, especially after the last year we have, and just moving forward as a society and as humans. We need things like this, and this episode is so beautiful and so powerful to watch. So thank you very much. And I would love to maybe chat a little bit about what we can expect for the full series premiere happening April 30th, I believe you mentioned. Yeah. What can we expect? Where can we see it? What can we do to help?
We're going to have it up in a couple of places. One is going to be on Facebook in our April in Santa Cruz phase. This concert is a part of a month-long concert series that's called April in Santa Cruz Festival of New Music. And it begins, I think, the 2nd of April, and it goes to the 30th of April. We have the closing concert. And there'll be a whole range of different kinds of concerts. There'll be a hip hop contest that has a concert that will be the final for that concert. And 2 of the winners of that contest will be a part of this recording, a part of the Quantum Elders Consciousness Vaccine concert. They'll get a chance to participate in that. But there's percussion ensembles, there's a wind quintet that's playing a lot of student compositions, all our DMA students' compositions. The pianists that'll be playing solo compositions, there's guitar duet, there's a whole range of different genres and different ensembles that'll be playing all month in April. And so these concerts will be, well, this concert will be the last one of that whole series. And so in order to, I'll send you a link, because I don't have the link on top of my head. I'll send you a link so that everybody you can put it on the website and everybody can tune into it.
Perfect. I will definitely do that. Oh, wow. This is absolutely amazing. And I wish I could talk to you for hours on end about this, because I think there's so much depth, like you said, to this series. But I'll just kind of end it with asking maybe what your favorite part of the creation of this series has been for each of you. And then maybe Rebecca, would you mind starting?
Okay, sure. Yes. My favorite part is really bring the music and have the music drive the visuals and bring everything together in ways that are unexpected even for me. A lot of times before creating a scene, just also all of the footages are creating this composite way, and I would only have a nascent idea about how it will look like, but then by putting it together and channeling it through, and it shows up on my screen as these wonderful footages. I think that's my favorite part.
It's absolutely beautiful. Cecilia, how about you?
Yeah, I wanted to say this is the first time I actually collaborate a composition with an African-American composer, and that is Major, because all of those music elements are actually very new to me. And, you know, this is very rich in terms of the compositional structure that Dr. Hester gave me. And, you know, it's really, sometimes I really need to, you know, think about this and meditate on the whole musical energy in order to put my energy in there and make them harmonized. So that was like the compositional, you know, process was the most interesting and, you know, my favorite part of this. Thank you, Dr. Hester.
And then Carlton, how about you?
I'm just working, like I said, with great minds great creativity, great people, and seeing how things evolve just very organically when you have the right ingredients. And it's funny because communicating with language barriers and all these kinds of things don't matter at all when it comes to creativity. You know, because we're able to, with Patricia, you know, I didn't even know that she didn't speak that well, because we always write, you know, and we're dealing with artistic subject matter, and so that becomes the language. And so it's just been really nice to watch how things come together. You just kind of create a nucleus and then watch that nucleus evolve, you know, from seed through time into harvest is really interesting for me.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And I absolutely love how all of you have been brought together for this series, and very excited to see the premiere of it in April. And then looking forward to just having a year-long event for having more from all of you. So thank you so much for being a part of this quick Q&A. We really appreciate hearing more about the depth of Duo Pandemic, and then really excited to hear about the full series coming out later this year. And thank you so much.
Thank you,
Okay,
Sara.
I just want to say,
Thank you, Sara.
Duo Pandemic.
Oh, thank you. Duo Pandemic. Thank you.
Thank you for inviting us.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, thank you for inviting us, taking the time, and talking about it with us.
Of course. Thank you.